Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Scarland here, bringing you a brand new video. And today, as the title suggests, we're going to be talking about Magic Legends. And it is shutting down. So, it is now official. So let me take you back in our time machine and look at this from where it all began. And then we're going to have a discussion about this. I don't really know how long the video is going to be. Could be short, could be long. There's a lot of things that I want to discuss and bring up about this. So this was way back in 2017, folks. 4 years ago. 4 years ago, June 7th in particular, it was announced that Magic the Gathering was being brought to an MMO. Alright? Cryptic Studios and Perfect World announced that they were making the game. They have the IP from Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons and Dragons, and they also got the IP for Magic the Gathering. So when this was all first announced, everyone was anticipating that this was going to be a full-fledged, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. MMORPG. Now, we all know the story, right? It didn't happen, okay? The MMO aspect was scrapped sometime during the development, and it became an ARPG. So if you're unfamiliar with Magic Legends, you never even looked at it, you never really cared, it was supposed to be a full-fledged MMO, and during the development phase, it got turned into an ARPG. So think of, Diablo, Path of Exile, that type of game. Now, the game itself brought a couple new aspects that most ARPGs don't have that intertwined with Magic the Gathering itself. So instead of having static abilities, you were drawing cards as your powers and everything. And it was a very intuitive system. I enjoyed it. It was something new. It was something fresh. You didn't have the same static abilities that you were just spam casting, etc. You had the ability to randomize your deck per se. So this was all the way back in 2017, folks. So we waited a long time. Now, the first disappointment, again, to reiterate, was, it wasn't becoming a full-fledged MMO, and it was becoming a ARPG. So a lot of people were already sour about that right in the beginning of development. So if we look at the wiki, now we all know, Magic Legends, the open beta is what they called it. The open beta actually just started this March. This past March 23rd. As of filming this video, it is now June 29th of 2021. So, back in March 23rd to be specific, of this year, 2021, they launched it. Now, they were calling it open beta, but it was a soft launch, right? They state that it's a soft launch, the servers weren't getting wiped from previous testing phases, and the Zen market went in full swing. You were able to purchase Zen, which is their premium currency, to buy premium items, etc. So the game may have been classified as open beta, and it might not have been classified as a 100% full release, but we know in the gaming industry a lot of companies do this, right? Back when Fortnite got released, is Fortnite still even in beta? Does anyone know? Is Fortnite actually fully released even like 5 years later? It's just a safety net for when things like this happen and they go wrong. They can just say, well, it was only open beta. We didn't make it to full launch, right? Well, in reality, in my mind, it was launched. It's a soft launch. As they state right here, it was a soft launch, right? Once you start accepting payments for your game, that to me, that means the game is done. Now we're just looking for updates at that point. So, today, again, as of filming this video, it is June 29th. Good old Big Daddy Steve. Good old Steve Ricosa coming in with the bad news, guys. June 29th, 2021. Magic Legends shutting down. October 31st of this year. So we waited 4 years for this game to be developed. We were already disappointed that it wasn't going to be a full-fledged MMO. The game went into a soft launch. I enjoyed it. For the most part, on a personal aspect, I enjoyed the game for what it was. However, the game had a lot of problems, which we're going to further discuss here in the next part of the video. But let's just go through it. So October 31st is the official date. October 31st, game's going down. No maintenance mode, nothing. They're taking the servers offline. You will no longer be able to play this game. So it is with a heavy hearts that we announce Magic Legends will be shutting down. All players who spent money in-game across both Arc and Epic will be getting a 100% full refund. Servers will remain open for playing until the closing day. However, we will be closing the Zen shop effective immediately. So that means, they don't have people swiping credit cards that don't know that the game's shutting down and they're taking these people's money. That's good, in my opinion, right? We're not out here trying to scam anyone, right? The game is being shut down. The Zen store is going offline immediately. Later this week, all items will instead be purchasable using Aether. So Aether is the free in-game currency. So they're taking the money aspect out of the Zen store, and you'll be able to buy things with your Aether. Even though, in the grand scheme of things, who's going to be playing this game? It doesn't matter. The game is getting shut down. So it is what it is. Our vision for Magic Legends missed the mark. Now, no kidding here, Steve. It's been countless letdowns after letdowns. Even on the soft launch, like I said, we'll discuss what went wrong with this game. But we are proud of what we achieved. And I agree. I can agree that they should be proud. Even though they didn't make a full-fledged MMO, they did make a brand new ARPG from the ground up. This was a brand new game, right? So they did build a brand new game. It just unfortunately didn't succeed. And it was due to things that the company had done wrong, essentially. Thanks to Wizards of the Coast. Oh yeah, Papa Wizards is probably not happy about this fiasco. We got to bring the expansive Magic the Gathering multiverse to a wide audience and explore new angles within the established ARPG genre. We learned several valuable lessons. I really hope you did, Big Daddy Steve. I hope you learned the lessons, bud, along the way. And we will use them to improve Cryptic's future development efforts. Most importantly, would like to thank all of the players, blah, blah, blah. So the main aspect of this is that if you spent money on this game, which I personally did, I dropped like $150 on this game, you're going to be getting a 100% full refund, okay? I'll leave the link of the blog article in the description if you guys want to read all through this, or you can see it on your screen or whatever. More importantly is there any chance that Magic Legends will be revived in the future? At this time, there are no plans to reinstate Magic Legends in the future. I don't see this game coming back. They're going to scrap it all. They might keep some aspects if they do recreate it down the road or something. Cryptic could actually turn around if Wizards decides to go with another company for a new Magic game. Cryptic could actually sell the assets that they've created to the new company if they wanted to, or so choose for that matter. So, yeah, Magic Legends is now officially going to be done. So let's jump into the discussion part, because I'm going to loop a video and we're going to discuss why, in my own personal opinion, this game actually failed. Alright guys, so let's get into the discussion here. What happened to Magic Legends? What went wrong? Well, we're going to loop this video a bunch. I don't even know how long this video is. Like 17 minutes. So we don't even have to play the whole video. This is the number one reason that this game failed right out the gates. So if you're unaware of what happened, the game launched, people were grinding their butts off, essentially, and then someone discovered an infinite loop of mobs that will spawn non-stop. So what does that exactly mean? Well, that just means that your grind got 100 times easier. So very early in the game's life cycle, you had everyone farming an endless loop of mobs that drop reagents in the game, and everyone was maxing out their characters very quickly, essentially. Not only are you gaining XP by doing this, you're gaining, gold and other reagents in the game. So if you're unfamiliar with the game, you need spell fragments to upgrade your cards. Your cards are basically your powers. So you could literally sit here indefinitely. You could sit here for 40 hours straight and just keep farming this spot that I'm showing you on the screen. Shout out to Malbot and Donnie, by the way, because we did this just like everyone else, non-stop. So this essentially ruins the game, because now you have your entire player base that just demolished all of your content and all of the goals in the game within the first couple weeks of the game even being out. So now those players get bored. They're not going to play anymore. They have no content. And the company, unfortunately, didn't have any content ready to go because they didn't anticipate something like this happening. So my question is, why did they not stop this immediately? Soon as they figured out, or soon as it became known that there was a game-breaking bug like this that people were obviously exploiting into the ground, why did Cryptic not step in and immediately hot patch this, or immediately try to fix this situation? Because they didn't. This literally lasted 2 to 3 weeks. So within 2 to 3 weeks, everyone that played Magic Legends at that point in time was theoretically already maxing out their characters, maxing out their meditation realms, right? And with the meditation realm, that's like your own personal little house, essentially, in Magic Legends. You had to level it from level 1 to 10, and people were able to take advantage of things in the meditation realm. So you were able to get more mana, which is a reagent to upgrade. You were able to generate more mana and basically get your meditation realm to like level 7, level 8 within the first couple weeks of the game. This was never intended, okay? That's the problem. That's one of the biggest issues that I think Magic Legends suffered by, is that there was a lot of game-breaking mechanics in this game, and they did not remedy the situation fast enough and just let it go. So the problem is now you have your whole player base sitting around with their hands in their pockets because they have nothing to do because there's no content, right? And speaking of content, unfortunately, the game itself didn't have that much content to begin with, right? There was practically no end game in Magic Legends, unfortunately. Once you got through all the storyline, there was really nothing to do other than trying to max out your cards and max out your meditation realm. Their idea of endgame per se was having world boss encounters. And to be perfectly honest, they were never worth doing because the rewards that you got from the world bosses were capped to only 5 a week. You can only do 5 world bosses a week, and then you would get capped out on it. And then the rewards themselves were not that good anyway. And that was practically the only thing to do. They did have multiple classes, per se, aka Planeswalkers, that you had to level to 30. But again, by, players running this exploit due to this bug, people were maxing out very easily. You were able to pop like double XP scrolls, double drop scrolls and everything. So factor that in on the highest difficulty that we're doing this, and this video was filmed on the highest difficulty that you can actually do this. Look at all the FPS lag too, by the way, guys. You see my, that's all in-game FPS lag. That's not the video lagging. That's not your computer lagging. That's this video. That was just all the FPS lag by doing this, because these monsters just keep spawning. It was an endless spawn loop of monsters. So, it is what it is. There was no end game. There was very few content updates. So, the game came out in March. Their first content update was just a couple weeks ago, last month, I believe, and it was just a minor little campaign extension to one of the campaigns they had. It literally took like 15 or 20 minutes to do, and that was it. That was it. So, not only did the game lack content, in my opinion, but it was just riddled with bugs that were either overlooked or they didn't fix fast enough. Because this was reported to them soon as people discovered it and it was starting to happen. They knew this was happening, and they let it go on for 2 to 3 weeks. And it essentially killed their game. This right here is the main reason Magic Legends is shutting down. Because everyone moved on. There's no content. Everyone's already maxed out their character. There's just nothing to do. And this all could have been avoided by the company stepping in and putting a stop to this as soon as possible. not 3 weeks down the road. That is just silliness. So, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but Cryptic has no one to blame but themselves. Now, there's also rumors circulating that Cryptic Studios laid off a bunch of employees. That can also be another factoring reason of why they had to scrap Magic Legends. They may not have the personnel at the company to maintain the game. Now, you guys know me. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I play Neverwinter. This channel was founded and built on Neverwinter, which is another Cryptic Studios title. So, what's that going to mean for Neverwinter? As a company aspect, Cryptic needs to make money. All of their games are free to play, so they rely on in-game purchases. Neverwinter is probably their number one selling product. They're going to have to step it up in Neverwinter, because the Neverwinter community, the longtime community, we have very strong feelings about the direction of where the game is going. So if the rumors are true, and Cryptic Studios did lay off a bunch of people, you have to coincide that with factual information that I know a lot of developers have already moved on. Chris Whiteside, for example, was the recent executive producer. He is no longer there. He has moved on. A couple of the developers, like Astral Doll and No Worries, they have moved on. These are people that have worked on Neverwinter particularly for a long time. And if you are familiar with Cryptic, you know they shuffle people around. So these developers probably worked on some stuff in Magic Legends as well. So if the rumors are true and Cryptic is, letting people go, that's another huge factor on why Magic Legends might not continue, or is continuing for that matter, right? That's a big thing if they don't have the people to maintain the game. So there's a lot of factors that we're never going to know, because Cryptic will never release anything other than the official statement that they already have on why Magic Legends is now being shut down. I mean, but this, in my opinion, has to be the number one reason. You just lost your community. You lost your player base. Everyone literally maxed out their characters in the first 3 weeks of the game. There's no content to run in the game. Those people are just going to move on to different games. I mean, I can only imagine what the overall player base is in Magic Legends right now. I sporadically still log in and try to do daily missions, and when I queue for dungeons, it sometimes takes 35 minutes. I usually get bored and just end up going and soloing it, because I can't even queue for a dungeon in the game and get 2 other people. So it's pretty bad. Like, I can understand why this game is shutting down. They probably have no player base. Next to no player base at all. And like I said, this is just some of the bigger bugs that I'm talking about. There were plenty more of bugs that people were exploiting in this game that just basically cheapened the game to maximize your character. Let's not, I mean, we could talk about the pay-to-win class. They put the very first DLC class locked behind RNG lockboxes, aka gambling methods. They soon quickly learned the error of their ways and decided, we're going to put the class at the end of the battle pass. This game had a battle pass. It had 50 tiers of a battle pass. They decided to put the class, the Planeswalker, at tier 50 for everyone. Whether you bought the battle pass or you are just going through the free battle pass, if you got your battle pass to tier 50, you got the DLC class, which of course is the Dimir Assassin. But originally, that wasn't the plan. They were originally locking this DLC class behind a paywall, per se. So they quickly learned that that was probably not a good idea. So that also made the community very angry, and they remedied that situation, but I do feel it was, too little too late. This game, in my opinion, was already dead on arrival. I mean, everybody was expecting a grand MMO, and we got an ARPG. And for me personally, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ARPG. I played Diablo, I like ARPGs. But a lot of people were very disappointed. We were all expecting a grand MMO, and they got an ARPG. And then the ARPG, unfortunately, was just riddled with bugs. So I don't know what else to say, guys. I mean, Magic Legends, it sucks. It really does, because like I said, even I still occasionally do log in and try to play. They actually came out with a second DLC class, right? The Pyromancer came out. And everyone got it for free. You just had to log in and claim it for X amount of time, and then they were going to start charging for it. So they actually released 2 Planeswalkers, and it still wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to entice the community to keep playing the game, unfortunately. And the biggest thing is that just the lack of content. Players demolished all the content due to this exploit that you're watching on your screen, and there was just simply nothing to do. And you can't expect a consumer and a player to play your game when there's nothing to do, essentially. So I don't know what else to really say about this. This is just my own personal opinions about this. Feel free to leave comments below, and we can discuss this. You know, a lot went wrong, and I really hope Cryptic does take a look and analyze the data and see exactly what went wrong and how to remedy situations in the future. Because speaking from personal experience and going back to Neverwinter, the game that I play and that my channel was built on, most of the people watching this video know my opinions on how the company runs and develops Neverwinter. It's not good. It's not good. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Because I don't know if it's just the people in the ivory tower sitting up there at Cryptic, or the people in the ivory tower of Wizards, or bring in big old Papa Hasbro, Bo. Who's calling the shots and making these decisions? Neverwinter could be one of the best games on the market, but the company is holding it back due to their own mistakes. Magic Legends is a fine example. The game was already dead on arrival, in my opinion. I didn't think that it was going to be that great of a game going forward, and this just kind of proves that. I mean, they're literally shutting it down. It's not even going in maintenance mode. They're not even going to try to remedy the situation. It's literally getting shut down. So 4 years of development just went to waste. All of that money, people, paying people salaries, all that development time, 4 years. 4 years of development time, paying people salaries. I can only imagine how upset Wizards of the Coast is, and I can only imagine how upset Hasbro is when it comes to the bottom line and quarterly profit margins and what was expected that Magic Legends was going to bring to the table as, revenue coming in for all of those parent companies. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. 4 years wasted. Imagine being a dedicated developer back in 2017, getting the exciting news that you were going to be working on a new project bringing Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering's been around for 25 plus years. So imagine being that developer, getting that excited, bringing imaginary lore and cards to a 3D environment, creating a brand new game, putting your heart and soul into developing this game for 4 years, only for it to be shut down in a matter of 4 months. 4 months. It launched at the end of March. It is now going to be shutting down. Well, it was announced today, but it's actually going to be shut down in October. But still, you guys get the point. It is a shame. It's a shame. I wish things would have been different. I think this game could have actually turned around, and they could have, made new content and, pushed their player base in a good direction. However, again, it was too little too late. This game-breaking exploit, this game-breaking bug right here that I'm showing you, this should have been shut down immediately. The other ones should have been shut down immediately as well. The things in the meditation realm where you could just basically get loads of mana and maximize your meditation realm. There's just there's no excuse for it. The company has no one to blame, unfortunately, but themselves. So, that's all I got for you guys. That's the discussion. I mean, It is what it is. I guess it was a good run. I mean, was it a good run? I don't even know if it's considered a good run. Is it a good run? I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it personally. I'm kind of sad that it is shutting down. I mean, even me personally, I was excited about this. When it got first announced 4 years ago, I was super, super pumped. I'm a huge Magic the Gathering nerd. Okay? I love MTG. That was a big part of my life growing up back in the early 90s. You know, 1992, 1993. That's the prime. That's the beginning of Magic the Gathering. I was there. I was playing. I was loving it. So, 25 years later, and they're making a game out of it. Yeah, I was excited. I was really and truly excited. It's just a shame that it was developed by a poor company. That's all I have to say. That's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Remember to smash the thumbs up button. Really helps the YouTube algorithm. That's all I got for you. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns below. Let's have a discussion about this. How do you guys feel about Magic Legends shutting down? Do you even really care? Does anyone honestly even really care? Everyone that I talked to has said, yeah, we kind of saw this coming, you know? And that's a shame. That's a shame. That's all I got for you. I'll see you guys real soon.